She was born into fame. The world expected her to become a copy of her mother, Cindy Crawford. But what if I told you Kaia Gerber has been hiding something in plain sight all along? From silent decisions to subtle rebellions, the truth about her life isn't what you think. This isn't just a celebrity story. This is a legacy rewritten. And by the end of this video, you'll never look at Kaia Gerber the same way again. You've seen her walk the runways and grace magazine covers. But behind the flashing lights and luxury gowns is a story filled with pressure, transformation, and quiet rebellion. Kaia Gerber isn't just Cindy Crawford's daughter. She's something far more unpredictable. Kaia was born in 2001, and from that moment, the world took notice. Being the child of one of the most iconic supermodels in history isn't ordinary, and it came with expectations. The media didn't just wonder who she'd become. They decided it for her. They didn't see a child growing up. They saw a future model in the making. But Kaia wasn't interested in playing by everyone else's script. At just 10 years old, she landed her first modeling job with Versace. Most kids at that age are still figuring out what they want to be. Kaia was already posing in front of cameras for one of the biggest fashion houses in the world. And from that moment, the pressure only grew stronger. The comparisons to Cindy Crawford came fast, and they never stopped. She was called a lookalike, a clone, a carbon copy. The headlines wrote themselves. And while the world celebrated the resemblance, Kaia felt the weight of living in someone else's image. At 16, she exploded onto the fashion scene. Fashion weeks in New York, Milan, Paris, and London all wanted her. Designers lined up: Chanel, Prada, Saint Laurent. Her schedule was packed. She was living a dream most models worked decades for. But it wasn't just fashion she was trying to master. It was her identity. And here's where things got interesting. Kaia didn't try to fight the comparisons with controversy or rebellion. She chose subtlety. She cut her hair, shifted her style. She chose roles in indie films over magazine covers. She began reading more, speaking about loneliness, fame, and self-image. She wasn't loud about her transformation. She let her silence speak. Behind the perfect photos and high-profile runways, she was building something much deeper. Control over her own story. Then came the relationships. Pete Davidson, Jacob Elordi. Headlines exploded. Fans speculated. But through it all, Kaia never fed the chaos. No dramatic interviews. No oversharing. Just glimpses. Just mystery. Just enough to keep people guessing. And while social media influencers were revealing every moment of their lives, Kaia stayed distant. Present, but protected. She posted occasionally. Carefully, a quote here. A moment there. Never too much, always just enough. It was calculated, controlled, intentional. She wasn't hiding, she was curating. People expected her to chase Cindy Crawford's footsteps, but Kaia didn't want to follow a path. She wanted to make her own. And she did it in ways no one expected. She stepped into acting, not with blockbuster films, but smaller, complex roles. Stories about trauma, about identity, about what it means to be seen but not known. It wasn't about fame, it was about meaning. She wasn't chasing the spotlight, she was searching for herself. Those who've worked with Kaia describe her as reserved, thoughtful, almost shy. Not your typical supermodel energy, but that's what made her stand out. She was born into fame, but didn't let it define her. She had access to everything, and yet She chose to keep part of herself untouched. She started collaborating with writers, artists, poets, sharing excerpts from Susan Sontag, quoting Joan Didion, talking about beauty, identity, and performance. She wasn't trying to be deep. She was deep. She wasn't pretending to be smart. She is smart. And people started to notice. Still, no matter how far she tried to step away from her mother's shadow, the resemblance stayed. Side-by-side images kept going viral. The comments still called her Cindy 2.0. But maybe Kaia realized something. The goal was never to escape the legacy. It was to reshape it. She's not fighting to be different. She's showing that she already is. And that brings us here. Today, Kaia Gerber isn't just modeling. She's acting. She's reading. She's choosing roles and collaborations with meaning. She's navigating fame with restraint and grace, something very few celebrity children manage to do. She's not just living in her mother's shadow. She's learning to cast her own. She's not done, not even close. Because this story, it's still being written. And the next chapter could change everything. This isn't just Cindy Crawford's daughter anymore. This is Kaia Gerber, and she's just getting started.